Welcome to Snow Talks on Shore. I'm Albi and this is a roundup of the avalanche conditions for the weekend. Well, the good news is really good skiing out there for the weekend, but the bad news, really tough avalanche conditions once again. Pretty much considerable right through the interior of BC and into the southern Rockies. A little bit better with some moderate at the low elevations in Banff and Kananaskis. Jasper, quite a bit better. But in Banff and in Kananaskis, still, although it may look a little better, really complex, I would treat it pretty much the same. And the big danger for this weekend is a lot of enthusiasm to get out and get at this great skiing, but with this persistent instability, it's really quite a setup. This is the classic conditions in which we see the Canadian Avalanche Centre sending out a warning, a special avalanche warning, because of the potential hazard coming up. So about that, Karl?
We're issuing this special warning because we're entering into a very tricky period here. Because the frequency of avalanches is going to start going down as the storm that we've seen for the last 10 days ends, we have to reduce the danger ratings. And so we'll see danger ratings probably go from high to considerable, perhaps even moderate in some places at some elevations over the next few days. But the problem is that we still have a very weak layer quite deeply buried in the snowpack that's going to continue to produce human-triggered, very large avalanches on select pieces of terrain. So our intent with the warning is to keep people aware that even though conditions look like they're improving, you won't see as many avalanches, that there is still potential for a significant human-triggered avalanche cycle coming up here in the next week or so.
Thanks, Karl. That really speaks to the game that we end up having to play in avalanche terrain all the time. So on one hand, the hazard's going up and down, but also our confidence about what we can do goes up and down. And when the hazard goes down a little bit, we seem to feel like we can get out and do a lot more. And that's reasonable, so long as our internal perceptions are well matched to what's actually going on out there. On weekends like this, where we're not going to see a lot of avalanches happening, we may not see any at all, but the hazard, if something happens, is really, really high. We very easily get a false sense of perception, especially if we've got blue skies and make everything seem very friendly. This is a classic weekend for a special avalanche warning because it is when traditionally we've seen people get overconfident, rush out into that more aggressive terrain and end up having an accident. So it's really important to put a little bit of self-reflection into this and really think about throttling back, just being a little bit easy this weekend, trying to use that safer terrain first. Maybe next weekend we can do more. We'll see. So on that note, have a safe weekend, and thanks very much for watching Snow Talks on Shore. I'm Albi, and remember, check the avalanche forecast before you go.